Welcome to DOMTales channel. If you watched part 1 and you are here for part 2, please subscribe so you don't miss the next part. Chidi tried to reach for her with his good arm, but the movement made him grimace. "I'm sorry, I'm okay, I promise." "You are not okay," she was sobbing now. "You are not okay and you could have left me alone here. And what would I have done? A doctor came in, young, tired looking, moving with the practiced efficiency of someone who'd seen too much violence in one shift. "Mrs. Okafor?" Amaka nodded, unable to speak. "He'll be fine. Mild concussion. We've done a scan, no internal bleeding, but we need to monitor him overnight. The head injury could cause dizziness, nausea, confusion. The cuts aren't deep. We've cleaned and sutured them. He was lucky." "Lucky," Amaka repeated numbly. "Yes, a few centimeters to the left and that head blow could have killed him." The words hit like a physical blow. The doctor continued, oblivious. "We'll keep him overnight for observation. No walk for at least 1 week. The head injury needs rest, complete rest. If he shows symptoms, severe headache, vomiting, confusion, bring him back immediately." "Thank you, doctor," Amaka whispered. When the doctor left, she sat beside the bed, still holding Chidi's hand. Her tears had stopped, but her whole body was shaking. "You can't do this again," she said quietly. "You can't." "Amaka, promise me. Promise me you won't risk yourself like this. I need you alive, Chidi. Safe. I don't care about brave. I care about you coming home." He looked at her, his eyes clouded with pain and medication and something like guilt. "Okay. Promise me." "I promise." But even as he said it, they both knew. Men like Chidi didn't know how to stand by when others were in danger. It was in him, coded into his bones, and that terrified her more than anything. Amaka stayed at the hospital all night. The waiting area chairs were hard plastic, sticky with substances she didn't want to identify. The fluorescent lights buzzed constantly, a maddening hum that made her head ache. Nurses moved in and out every few hours, checking Chidi's vitals, whispering among themselves about other patients, about their shifts, about normal things, while people were dying and bleeding around them. Around 3 a.m., another patient was rushed in, a young man stabbed in the stomach during a robbery. His screams echoed through the thin curtains. The blood, the smell of it, the desperate shouting of doctors. Amaka pressed her hands over her ears, but it didn't help. From the bed, Chidi, groggy from pain medication but still conscious, reached for her. "Come here. I'll hurt you." "You won't, please." She climbed carefully onto the narrow hospital bed, fitting herself into the small space beside him, being mindful of his bandages and the IV in his arm. He wrapped his good arm around her. "Sleep," he said, his voice thick with medication. "I can't." "Try. I'm okay. We're okay." But they weren't, not really. She closed her eyes anyway. The hospital hummed around them, machines beeping, someone coughing, a baby crying in the distance, the squeak of gurney wheels on worn linoleum. But in Chidi's arms, despite everything, she felt a measure of safety return. Morning came pale through grimy windows. The doctor returned, shined a small light in Chidi's eyes, asked him questions, his name, the date, where he was, who was president. Satisfied that his brain wasn't swelling, he signed discharge papers. "But absolute rest, 1 week minimum, no work, no exertion. And if you experience severe dizziness, vomiting or confusion, come back immediately. Head injuries are unpredictable." Chidi nodded, but Amaka saw the worry flash across his face. No work meant no pay. 1 week meant... The hospital bill was 3,000 naira. Musa, the supervisor from the estate, appeared as they were preparing to leave. He handed Amaka an envelope. "The estate manager sent this, for the hospital. Mr. Chidi saved lives last night. The chairman's family was in the main house." After Musa left, Amaka opened the envelope. 3,000 naira exactly. They took a taxi part of the way. Chidi couldn't walk far, then went on foot the rest. He leaned heavily on her, his steps slow and unsteady. She could feel him trembling with the effort. People on the street stared, whispered. "Now that gate man, see how robbers beat him. He thinks say he be soldier, foolish man. Lucky they no kill him." Amaka ignored them, focused only on getting Chidi home. By the time they reached the compound, his face was grey with exhaustion and pain. A fresh spot of blood had appeared on his head bandage. Inside the room, she helped him onto the mattress. He lay down with a groan that he tried to suppress. "I'll make you food," she said. "Not hungry." "The doctor said you need to eat to heal." He nodded, too tired to argue. She went outside to cook. The woman at the tap looked at her differently now. The mockery was gone, replaced by something softer. Mama Tunde approached. "He's okay?" "Yes, ma, thank God." "He's brave, foolish
Foolish but brave, she smiled sadly. Most men would have run. Even if he's poor, his heart is strong. Yes, ma. Mama Tunde pressed a small bag into her hands. Yam, boil it well, it will give him strength. Amaka's throat tightened. I can't take. We help each other here, that's how we survive this Lagos, take it. Amaka took the yam, tears burning her eyes. Thank you. She boiled it carefully, made pepper sauce with the last of the tomatoes, and brought it inside. Chidi ate slowly, mechanically. After 3 bites he stopped. I can't, too tired. He lay back down and was asleep within seconds. Amaka sat beside him, watching his chest rise and fall, checking every few minutes to make sure he was still breathing. She prayed silently, not for wealth, not even for success, just for him to survive. Just for them to make it through. One more day. One more week. One more month. However long it took. 2 days later, Chidi still weak, sleeping most of the day, eating little. There was a knock at the door. Amaka opened it to find a man in a suit, clean-shaven, leather bag, the kind of person who looked out of place in their compound. Good afternoon, I'm looking for Mr. Chidi Okafor. Her heart sank. Were they firing him, coming to tell him not to return? He's inside, resting. Who are you? I'm Mr. Adeleke, from Zenith Guard Services, his employer at the estate. Amaka stepped aside. Please come in. The man entered, looking around the small room with an expression she couldn't quite read. Not judgment, something else, recognition maybe. Chidi was lying on the mattress, reading one of his business books with obvious effort. When he saw Mr. Adeleke, he tried to sit up too quickly, and winced, his hand going to his bandaged head. Sir, I'm sorry, I was going to call. Chidi, stay down, don't get up. Mr. Adeleke's voice was kind. I came to check on you, to see how you're recovering. I'm fine, sir. I'll be back to work by Monday. Tomorrow even if you need. No, absolutely not. You need to heal properly. Mr. Adeleke reached into his bag and pulled out a white envelope. He placed it on the small table. The residents at the estate, the families you protected that night, they took a collection for your hospital bills and to say thank you. Chidi stared at the envelope like it might burn him. Sir, I can't accept. You can, and you will. Mr. Adeleke's voice was firm but gentle. You stopped those men from reaching the main house. The chairman's wife and children were inside. His daughter is 7 years old. Do you understand what you did? Chidi swallowed hard, nodded. Mr. Adeleke pulled out a second, smaller envelope. This is from the company. 1 month's salary as a bonus for exceptional bravery and service. Amaka felt her knees weakened. She sat down on the chair before she fell. There's one more thing, Mr. Adeleke continued. The board met yesterday. We're making some changes. Chidi's face went carefully blank, preparing for bad news. We're moving you to head office operations, day shift only, Monday to Friday. You'll be coordinating security across all our client sites. It's a supervisory position. The pay is 15,000 naira more monthly. The silence was absolute. Chidi's mouth opened, closed. No words came out. Sir, his voice was barely a whisper. You've been with us 3 years, Chidi. Always on time, never complained, never stole. That kind of character is rare. We should have promoted you a year ago, honestly. This incident just made it clear we couldn't wait anymore. Mr. Adeleke stood to leave. Rest properly, take the full week, come back strong. We'll see you Monday week at head office. After he left, the room was silent. Chidi sat there, staring at the 2 envelopes on the table like they might disappear if he looked away. Finally, with shaking hands, he opened the first one. 15,000 naira in mixed bills. The second envelope held 20,000. $35,000 total. More money than either of them had seen in one place. He just stared at it, his eyes wet. Amaka moved to sit beside him on the mattress. It's happening, she whispered. What you always said, you won't be a security guard ever, sir. He looked at her, tears sliding down his face now. We're going to make it, he said, like he was testing the words, seeing if they might be true. I know. He pulled her close with his good arm, and for the first time in weeks, maybe months, she felt his body relaxed. Not completely. But enough, just enough to believe that maybe, possibly, they might actually survive.
After 3 weeks later, the new job started after Chidi's head wound had healed enough that the dizziness stopped and the headaches became manageable instead of debilitating. He left early on Monday morning, wearing a borrowed shirt Amaka had ironed 3 times to get every wrinkle out. She watched him go, her chest tight with something that felt like hope, but also like fear. What if he can't do it? What if they realize he's not qualified? What if this is just temporary and next week they send him back to the gate? She pushed the thoughts away. He returned that evening transformed. Not in how he looked, he was still tired, still thin, but in his eyes. They were bright, alert. The deadness that exhaustion had carved into them was gone. How was it? She asked, almost afraid of the answer. Good, really good. He sat down, and for the first time in months, his movements weren't heavy with exhaustion. I'm coordinating patrol schedules across 5 different locations, managing shift rotations, and, Amaka, they gave me access to the company records.
I can see everything, the routes, the costs, where money is being wasted. Did you tell them about the inefficiencies? Not yet. Mr. Adeleke said the smartest supervisors learn the system first before suggesting changes. He said too many people come in trying to fix everything immediately and just create more problems. She smiled. That's wise. That's what I thought. Over the next weeks, a rhythm developed. The pay was better, $25,000 monthly instead of the $10,000 he'd been making per shift at the estate. Not wealth, but enough to buy rice without counting every grain, enough for Amaka to buy a small gas cooker to replace the charcoal that had been slowly destroying her lungs. They paid back the hospital bill to the estate manager, insisted on it even though Musa said it wasn't necessary, sent 2,000 naira to Amaka's mother, bought proper food. Chidi still worked long hours, learning, studying, taking notes, but he came home before midnight now. Came home able to speak in full sentences, able to eat a meal and stay awake through it. 6 weeks into the new position, he brought home a notebook, different from his usual cheap ones. This one had a hard cover, proper binding. Look at this. Inside were detailed charts, cost analyses, a business plan that was more refined than anything she'd seen. Okafor Logistics, he said quietly. I've been working on it, every lunch break, every spare moment. Look, here's the registration cost breakdown. Here's the vehicle assessment I did on used Hiaces. Here's the projected route profitability. She traced the numbers with her finger. How much do you have saved now? With the bonus and these 2 months of better pay, 68,000. I need another 32 to be safe. Registration is 20,000. A decent used vehicle is 60 to 70. That leaves emergency funds for the first 3 months, fuel, maintenance, permit renewals. When? She asked. 4 more months, maybe 5. If I can pick up 1 or 2 weekend shifts, not the killing schedule like before, just occasional, I can do it in 4. Chidi, you need to rest. I am resting. I sleep 6, sometimes 7 hours now. I eat proper meals. This is different from before. He took her hand. I learned my lesson. I can't build anything if I'm dead. You taught me that. She wanted to argue, but she saw his face, the determination, the fire that had never quite died even when his body was failing. Okay, she said, but I'm helping too. How? I don't know yet, but I will. That night, she lay awake thinking. She'd been a secretary, fast typist, good with numbers, organized. Those skills hadn't disappeared. The next day, she asked around the compound. Mama Tunde knew someone who needed help at a provision store. Just mornings, 5 hours, basic bookkeeping and sales. The pay? 5,000 monthly. Not much, but it was something. She took the job. The store was called Gloria's Provisions, a 10-minute walk wedged between a pharmacy and a betting shop that was always full of men shouting at football matches. Mrs. Adana, Sister Gloria, was a round woman with sharp eyes and a voice that could cut glass. You ever work sales before? No, Ma, but I'm good with numbers. I learn fast. Mrs. Adana walked around her slowly, assessing. You're that security man's wife, the one everybody talked about. Amaka's spine straightened. Yes, Ma. A long pause. People said you were foolish, throwing your life away on a gate man. Amaka said nothing. But you're still here, not running back to your family. Mrs. Adana nodded slowly. That means something. Stubbornness, maybe, or strength. We'll see which. She pointed to the storeroom. Stock is back there. Prices on this list. Customers try to shortchange you even once, you're out. Understand? Yes, Ma. Good. Tomorrow, 7 a.m. Don't be late. Amako was never late. She swept before opening, organized the shelves by category. Indomie noodles, Milo, Peak milk, detergent, bathing soap, candles, matches. Learned prices by heart within 3 days. Learned which customers were honest, which tried to hoggle past reason, which sent children with short money hoping she wouldn't notice. No, sir. Indomie is 50 naira. I can't do 40. Mama, your money is short. You need 10 naira more. I'm sorry, Auntie. Sister Gloria said no credit, cash only. Some customers were kind, older women who appreciated her respect, young mothers who saw the struggle in her eyes and softened. Others were cruel. This one way they sell for kiosk, wear your degree. Security man wife, counting 20 naira like it's not gold. Amaka learned to let the words slide off like water. Every insult was 5,000 naira closer to Chidi's dream. Mrs. Adana watched carefully the first 2 weeks, then started leaving her alone for hours. "You're better than the last 3 girls," she said one afternoon, counting the day's earnings. "Those ones were either stealing or sleeping or both." At the end of the first month, Mrs. Adana handed her 5,000 naira in a brown envelope. "Same time next month?" "Yes, Ma. Thank you." That evening, she gave the money to Chidi. He stared at it. Where did this come from? "I got a job. Sister Gloria's provision store. Mornings only." "Chidi." "Don't." She cut him off gently. "We're doing this together. That's what you said. That's what we're doing." He looked at her for a long moment, then slowly nodded. Together. They put the money in an old biscuit tin, their future tin, and month by month, 5,000 at a time, it grew.
3 months into her job at the store, 3 months of slow, steady saving, Amaka's cousin, Ugochi, appeared on a Saturday afternoon. No warning, no phone call, just suddenly there, sweeping into the compound like a storm that hadn't been forecasted. "Amaka, finally found you!" She pushed into the room in a cloud of expensive perfume, designer bags swinging, wearing a wig that probably cost more than 2 months of Amaka's rent. Amaka was folding Chidi's work shirts. She looked up slowly. "What do you want, Ugochi?" I can't visit my cousin?" Ugochi sat without invitation, crossing her legs. "So, it's true. You're still here. I thought for sure you would have run back home by now." "I'm not running anywhere." Ugochi's eyes traveled around the room, taking in the new gas cooker, the slightly better curtains, the small improvements. "I heard you're working at Sister Gloria's kiosk now." "It's a provision store." "Same thing." Ugochi laughed. "You, selling Indomie, university graduate, first class in economics. This is what love does to a person." Amaka continued folding, didn't look up. Her hands were steady even though something hot was building in her chest. "Where's your husband?" "Work." "Still guarding gates?" "He's a security operations supervisor, head office." Ugochi raised one drawn-on eyebrow. "Oh, so he got promoted from opening one gate to managing people who open other gates?" She laughed at her own joke. Amaka's jaw tightened, but she kept folding. "You know what?" Ugochi leaned forward. "I came to give you update. And Mecca, you remember him? The one from Total who wanted to marry you?" Amaka said nothing. "He just bought a house, 3-bedroom in Aja. He's only 29 and driving 2024 Camry now. Branch manager." Ugochi paused for effect. "He asked about you last month, said if you ever wise up, he's still single." Amaka finally looked up. Her voice was calm, steady. "Tell him I'm married. To poverty. To a man who respects me, who works hard, who doesn't lie or cheat or treat me like an investment." Ugochi's smile turned sharp. "Respect doesn't pay school fees, Amaka. Respect doesn't build houses. You're wasting your youth on a dream that will never happen." "Are you done?" "I'm trying to help you." "I don't need your help." Ugochi stood abruptly. "Fine, suffer well, but when you come begging, and you will, don't say I didn't warn you." She headed for the door, then stopped, turned back. "Oh, and Uncle? He's been telling everyone you're dead to the family. Says he doesn't have a niece named Amaka anymore. Thought you should know." The door slammed.
Amaka sat down slowly on the mattress. Her hands were shaking now, not with fear, but with something else. Anger, maybe, or just exhaustion from constantly having to defend her choice. But she didn't cry. She'd cried enough. Instead, she picked up the tin where they kept their savings, opened it, and counted. 83,000 naira. 17,000 more to go. 4 more months, maybe 3 if they were careful. Ugochi's words echoed, but quieter now, because Amaka had something Ugochi didn't, a goal that was real, measurable, getting closer every day.
Four months later, on a Tuesday evening that felt like any other, Chidi came home walking differently, lighter somehow. I got a raise. Amaka looked up from the rice she was cooking, real jollof this time with chicken. How much? 10,000 more, monthly, 35,000 total now. She dropped the spoon and grabbed him, not caring that his shirt was dusty from the day. Chidi! He laughed, rare and real and beautiful. And there's more. Mr. Adeleke wants me to take a management course, business administration, Lagos Business School, weekends. The company is paying everything, tuition, books, transport. When does it start? Next month, 3 months long. Amaka pulled back, looking at him. His eyes were bright with something she hadn't seen in so long she'd almost forgotten what it looked like. Pure hope. You are really doing it, she whispered. We're doing it. That weekend, they made a decision. With the raise, they could afford better accommodation. Not much better, but enough. They found a room 3 streets over, slightly larger, kitchen space separated by a curtain, toilet and bathroom inside, 2 windows that actually had glass. The rent was 20,000 instead of 15, but between Chidi's new salary and Amaka's store income, they could manage. On moving day, really just carrying their few belongings in borrowed bags, Mama Tunde stood outside her door, watching. You people are doing well, she said, something like pride in her voice. I knew it. The way you two work, the way you fight together, I knew you would rise. Thank you, Mama Tunde, for everything. That's what we do. We help each other survive this Lagos. The new room wasn't a palace. The paint was still peeling in corners. The ceiling had cracks. The neighborhood was still loud with generators and arguments and life happening too close together. But it was theirs. The door had a proper lock. The toilet didn't smell like a public convenience. There was space to breathe. On their first night there, they sat on the second-hand mattress they'd bought, firmer, cleaner, eating the jollof rice Amaka had made. Remember the first night? Chidi asked, looking around. Warm Coke and borrowed plates. She smiled. I remember thinking the Coke was the least of our problems. Did you think we'd make it this far? Amaka was quiet for a moment, honest. Some days, no. Some days I woke up thinking, this is it. This is the day one of us breaks. But you kept showing up, so I kept showing up. I'm glad we both stayed. They ate in comfortable silence. Outside, the compound was quieter than the old one. Fewer screaming matches, less chaos. Just the normal sounds of people living. Children playing, someone cooking.
8 months after walking out of her family compound, Amaka received a call from her mother. Your uncle is having a birthday. Big celebration. He asked me to invite you. Amaka's first instinct was to refuse, but something in her mother's voice stopped her. Mama, I don't think... Please, my daughter, just come. Let them see you survived. Let them see you're well. A pause. Let me see you properly. The vulnerability in her mother's voice broke something. Okay, Mama, I'll come. When she told Chidi, he encouraged her. Go. Show them you're fine. Show them we made it. So she went. She wore a simple Ankara dress. Not new, but clean and well-fitted. Her hair was plaited neatly in a style she'd learned to do herself. No makeup, no jewelry except the simple band Chidi had bought her 3 months ago when they had a little extra. The party was loud. The same compound, canopies filling the yard, jollof rice and giant coolers, a live band, her uncle in the center, surrounded by well-wishers. Amaka arrived quietly, trying to slip in unnoticed. Her mother saw her first, gasped, ran over and pulled her into a crushing hug. "You came! I didn't think you would really come. I asked you to." Her mother pulled back, studying her face with hungry eyes. "You look different. Still thin, but stronger. Your eyes are different." "I'm okay, Mama." "Where's Chidi?" "He has a course today, business management at Lagos Business School." Her mother's eyebrows rose. "Business school?" "His company is sponsoring him. He's a supervisor now." Something crossed her mother's face. Pride, maybe, or vindication. Amaka greeted her uncle. He was mid-laugh with someone, but when he saw her, the sound died in his throat. For a moment, they just looked at each other. "Uncle, happy birthday." He nodded slowly, stiffly. "You came?" "Yes, sir." He turned back to his conversation, but Amaka saw something flicker in his eyes. Not quite regret, but not contempt either. She found a seat in the back, away from the main gathering. That's when Ugochi appeared, of course. "Look who showed up!" Loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "The provision store attendant." People turned, whispered. Amaka stood, ready to leave. She didn't need this. But Ugochi wasn't finished. "Everyone, see my cousin, the one who married for love. Tell us, Amaka, how sweet is poverty these days?" Amaka's mother tried to intervene. "Ugochi, stop this." "No, Auntie, we all want to know. Where's your husband? Still opening gates? Or did they promote him to sweeping the compound?" That's when Amaka spoke. Her voice was calm, quiet enough that people had to stop talking to hear her. "He's a security operations supervisor now, coordinating 5 locations, taking a business management course at Lagos Business School. The company is paying for it." The whispers changed texture. "And we're fine. We have our own place, we eat, we're building something real." She looked directly at Ugochi. "Together." Ugochi's smile faltered. "What supervisor? Gates?" "Of people, of systems, of operations." Amaka's voice stayed level. "Things you wouldn't understand because you've never built anything yourself. You just spend your boyfriend's money and call it success. What happens when he finds someone else? What will you have?" The silence was sharp. Ugochi's face twisted. "You think I'm leaving?" Amaka turned. To her mother, "Thank you for inviting me, Mama, but I have somewhere to be." She walked toward the gate, head high, heart pounding. Her uncle's voice stopped her. "Amaka, wait." She turned. He stood slowly, looking older than she remembered, tired. "You're really okay? Not just pretending?" "Yes, Uncle." He nodded slowly, looked at her for a long moment. "Good. That's good." Then, surprisingly, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a business card. "My friend, Chief Okonkwo. He runs a manufacturing company. Plastics, packaging. They've been having problems with their logistics. Their current company keeps failing them." He held out the card. "Call him. Tell him I sent you when your husband is ready." Amaka took the card slowly, looked at it, then at her uncle. "Thank you, Uncle." "I was wrong about him." The words came out stiff, like they hurt. "I thought he would fail, thought you'd come back broken. I was wrong." It wasn't a full apology, but it was more than she expected. She left, the business card in her hand feeling heavier than it should. On the bus ride home, she cried. Not from pain this time, from something releasing, some weight she'd been carrying, finally lifting. That evening,
Chidi found her on their small veranda, staring at the business card. How was the party? Complicated. Good and terrible both. He sat beside her. Want to talk about it? She told him everything. The mockery, the confrontation, her uncle's strange gesture at the end. When she finished, Chidi was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I'm ready." Ready for what? To register the company. He took her hand. We have 97,000 naira now, between my savings and yours. It's time. Amaka's breath caught. Are you sure? I'm sure. I've been researching vehicles. There's a 2010 Toyota Hiace, well-maintained, for 75,000 naira. I've inspected it twice. The engine is solid. Registration will cost 18,000 naira with permits. That leaves us 4,000 for emergencies and fuel. That's tight. I know, but I'll keep the supervisor job while we start. Build slowly. Take jobs after hours and on weekends. It'll be tight for a few months, but Amaka, his voice grew intense. We are so close. We can do this. She looked at him, saw the man who'd been worked himself nearly to death, who'd been injured protecting strangers, who'd never once complained or quit. Then let's do it, she said. They sat like that, two people who'd been broken down and slowly rebuilt, still standing, still together, still believing. The company started with one vehicle, a white Toyota Hiace, dented on the passenger side, paint fading near the wheels, but the engine purred. The tires were good. It passed inspection. Chidi registered the business officially. Okafor Logistics Limited, paid for permits, got insurance. Amaka designed the logo on a free app, spent 3 evenings getting it right. Simple, professional, a road stretching forward. They printed flyers at a cheap shop in Yaba, 500 copies. Then came the hard part, finding clients. They distributed flyers everywhere. Amaka took stacks to pharmacies, electronics shops, anywhere that might need delivery services. Most people threw them away without looking. Some laughed. One vehicle company? You people are not serious. But a very few, called. The first client was Mrs. Nwosu's pharmacy in Ikeja. She needed medications delivered to patients twice weekly. Can you be reliable? She asked during the meeting. My patients are elderly. Some are diabetic. They need their medications on time. I understand, Ma. I'll handle deliveries personally. You have my word. Words are easy. Let's see action. 2 weeks trial. Chidi delivered every package himself, on time, called each customer to confirm, was professional, careful, kind. Nwosu noticed. You're different from the others. You actually care about the work. She gave him a permanent contract, twice weekly, 5,000 naira per week, 10,000 naira monthly, their first steady income from the business. Word spread slowly. A small electronics shop needed phones delivered, 3,000 naira per delivery, twice weekly. A catering service needed food transported to events. Pay varied, sometimes 2,000 naira, sometimes 5, but it was work. 3 months in, Chidi was making about 35,000 naira monthly from the business, same as his supervisor's salary, but he kept both jobs. The salary was steady, the business still fragile. 6 months in, he hired a driver, Emmanuel, a young man who'd been unemployed for 2 years, then scraped together money for a second used vehicle. 9 months in, 3 vehicles, 4 employees including Emmanuel, a small office space, really just a desk in a shared workspace, but it was official. Amaka designed the logo on a free app, spent 3 evenings getting it right. Simple, professional, a road stretching forward. They printed flyers at a cheap shop in Yaba, 500 copies.
Amaka quit Sister Gloria's store and became full-time company secretary, managing invoices, tracking deliveries, handling customer calls, keeping books. They worked side by side, late nights, early mornings, Arguments about routes and pricing and whether they could afford to hire another driver. It was hard. Some months they barely broke even. One vehicle broke down and ate their emergency fund. A client didn't pay for 6 weeks and they nearly couldn't make payroll. But slowly, painfully, gradually, it grew. Not fast, not easy, but real.
14 months after starting Okafor Logistics, Amaka went back to her family compound. Not for a celebration, just to visit her mother. She'd been sending money, $5,000 monthly when they could afford it, but hadn't visited in nearly a year. She arrived in one of their company vehicles. Not flashy, just clean, professional, the Okafor Logistics logo visible on the side. Children in the street pointed, "Auntie, get motor!" Her mother cried when she saw her, actually cried. "Look at you. You look healthy, strong, like yourself again." "I'm good, Mama. We're good." They sat in the parlor, the same one where everything had fallen apart, drinking Zobo and talking about small things, Nikiru's wedding plans, the neighbor's new baby, normal things. Then her uncle walked in. He stopped when he saw Amaka. Something flickered across his face. "You're back." "Just visiting, Uncle." He sat down slowly, looked at her for a long moment. "I heard you and your husband have a business now, logistics." "Yes, sir." "Is it doing well?" "We're managing, growing slowly." He nodded, quiet for a moment. Then, "I was hard on you, that day, at the traditional marriage." Amaka didn't respond. "I thought I was protecting you." His voice was quieter now. "I thought he would fail, that you would suffer and come back ruined. I was wrong." It wasn't a full apology, not quite, but his eyes held something that looked like regret. Amaka stood. "I should go, Uncle. I just came to see Mama." "Wait." He pulled out the business card again, the same one from the party. "Chief Okonkwo, my friend, I told him about you, about your company. He wants to meet. His current logistics provider keeps failing. If you can prove you're reliable." He held out the card again. "It's a big account. Could change everything for you. But you have to be ready. He won't tolerate mistakes." Amaka took the card. "Thank you, Uncle." "Tell your husband." He paused. "Tell him I said well done. He proved me wrong. That takes something." She left, the business card in her hand, tears blurring her vision. On the drive back, she let herself cry. Not from pain, from release, from the weight of needing to prove herself finally beginning to lift. Chief Okonkwo's manufacturing company, Okonkwo Plastics Limited, was big. Warehouses spreading across a compound in Acacia, trucks, forklifts, employees everywhere in uniforms. Chidi went for the meeting in their best suit, bought second-hand but tailored to fit. Amaka waited in the car outside, hands clasped, praying, "Please, God, just this one thing. Just let it work." 2 hours later, Chidi emerged. His face was unreadable. Amaka's heart sank. They'd said no. Of course they'd said no. What was a small company with 3 vehicles compared to? Then Chidi smiled. Wide, real, almost disbelieving. He got in the car and sat there, hands on the steering wheel, just breathing. "Chidi? We got it." "What?" 6-month trial contract. If we perform well, it becomes permanent. They need daily deliveries to distributors across Lagos and Oban. His voice was shaking. 70,000 per week, Amaka. 70,000. She screamed, grabbed him, held on. "We did it," he whispered into her ear. "We actually did it." But that night, after the celebration died down, Chidi sat with their books, calculating. "We need to hire 3 more drivers immediately. Buy at least 2 more vehicles. We can't do this volume with 3. Rent a proper office. Get professional insurance. Can we afford it? Barely. We'll need a loan for the vehicles, but if we can deliver well for 3 months, prove ourselves, the income will cover everything. And if we fail," he looked at her, "we won't fail. We can't." The next 3 months were the hardest of their lives. Chidi worked 18-hour days again, not because of multiple jobs, but because the business demanded it. Coordinating deliveries, handling complaints, maintaining vehicles, managing the new employees. Amaka worked alongside him, answering calls at midnight, tracking shipments, solving problems. They hired 5 drivers, bought 2 more vehicles on loan, rented a small office. There were disasters. A vehicle broke down mid-delivery. A driver got lost and delivered to the wrong address.
A client complained about damaged goods, but they fixed everything, worked through it, apologized, made it right, and slowly Chief Okonkwo began to trust them. At the 3-month mark, he called Chidi in. "You've done well, better than I expected. I'm making the contract permanent, and I have 3 other business owners who need reliable logistics. I'm recommending you." Within 6 months of the Okonkwo contract, they had 6 major clients. Within a year, they had 10 vehicles, 15 employees, contracts across Lagos and Hogan. Chidi finally quit his security supervisor job. The business needed him full-time. He was no longer a security guard. He was a CEO. 2.5 years after their traditional marriage, Amaka received an unexpected call from Ugoji. "Amaka, it's me." Silence. I wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. All the mockery. The cruelty. I was wrong. Why are you calling me now? Her cousin's voice cracked. "Because I need help. I lost my job 4 months ago. The company downsized. My boyfriend, the one I was so proud of, he left me for his boss's daughter. I'm struggling. Really struggling." Amaka closed her eyes, remembered every cruel word, every mocking laugh. "What do you need?" "A job. Anything. I heard your company is expanding. I'll do anything, Amaka. Reception. Filing. Cleaning. I don't care. I just need work." Every part of Amaka wanted to say no. But then she thought of Chidi, of the kind of people they decided to be, of Mama Tunde's kindness when they had nothing. "Come to the office tomorrow, 9 a.m. Thank you. Thank you so much. I promise. 9 a.m. Ugoji. Don't be late." Ugoji arrived at AIM-4A5. Humble. Quiet. Wearing a simple dress. No wig. Natural hair in a modest style. Amaka gave her a job. Receptionist. $25,000 monthly. Not charity. Work. And as Ugoji sat at the desk answering calls, being polite to customers, Amaka realized something. Forgiveness wasn't about Ugoji. It was about choosing who she wanted to be. About refusing to become bitter. About breaking cycles instead of continuing them.
3 years and 2 months after their traditional marriage, they finally had a proper wedding. Not big, not flashy, just meaningful. A small church in Acacia, family, close friends, employees from the company. Amaka wore a simple white dress, off the rack, but elegant. Chidi wore a suit he bought himself, new, well-fitted, no borrowing. Her uncle was there, her mother crying happy tears, and Kiru, now married herself, beaming with pride. Even Ugochi came, sitting quietly in the back. Ifeoma was maid of honor. She'd left Diamond Logistics, started her own event planning business, was engaged to a kind man, a teacher who looked at her like she hung the moon. When the pastor asked, "Do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?" Chidi's voice was clear and strong. "I do." And when he kissed her, the small crowd erupted. At the reception, her uncle stood to speak. "I didn't believe in this marriage," his voice carried across the room. "I thought it was a terrible mistake. I was harsh, cruel even. I tried to stop it." He paused, looking at Chidi and Amaka. "But I was wrong, completely wrong. Chidi didn't just marry my niece. He partnered with her, respected her, worked with her, built with her. They faced mockery together, poverty together, and they came out stronger." His voice thickened. "That's what marriage should be. Not about what you start with, about what you're willing to build, about character, about commitment." People clapped. Some cried. Chidi looked at Amaka. She looked back. No words needed. They'd walked through fire and emerged refined. 5 years after the traditional marriage, Okafor Logistics had 20 vehicles, 35 employees, contracts across 5 states. They'd become known for reliability, for treating employees like family, for giving chances to people others overlooked. Chidi and Amaka moved into a modest house in Magado. 3 bedrooms, small garden, nothing ostentatious, just comfortable. They planted flowers together, ate breakfast on the veranda, talked about the future. One evening, Amaka found Chidi in his study, holding that old, battered notebook. The one from the Face Me I Facey room. "What's that?" "My first business plan." She sat beside him. They flipped through pages together, rough sketches, desperate calculations, hope written in cheap pen.
"We've come so far," she said softly. "We have. Do you ever think about it? The beginning? That first night with warm Coke? The one mattress? Every day. Why? Because it reminds me what matters." He closed the notebook carefully. "Not the success, not the money, the journey, the struggle, what we learned, who we became." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "I'd do it all again," she whispered. "Every hard moment. Even the poverty? Even that. Because it taught us who we are, what we're capable of, what really matters." He kissed her forehead. "I love you more now than I did then." "Me too." Outside, Legos hummed with its endless noise, but inside there was peace. Hard-won, precious, theirs. Years passed. The company continued growing, but Chidi and Amaka never forgot where they came from. They hired people others dismissed, single mothers, school dropouts, former security guards like Chidi once was, paid fair wages, offered advancement based on merit. When young couples came for advice, and they did often, they always said the same thing. Don't marry for what someone has, marry for who they are, then build together. It won't be easy. Some days you'll want to quit, but if you both show up, if you both work, if you both refuse to give up, you'll make it. One afternoon, a young woman came to the office. "Mrs. Amaka?" "Yes. I'm Chioma, I'm Kiru's daughter, your niece." Amaka smiled. "Chioma, you've grown." "Yes, Ma." The girl hesitated. "My mother said I should talk to you. She said you would understand." "Understand what?" "I'm in love with someone, a mechanic, but my family says he's not good enough. They want me to wait for someone with a degree, with money, but I love him, and he's good. He works so hard, he's honest, he's kind, but they won't listen." Amaka looked at this young woman, saw herself at 26. "What does your heart say?" "That he's the one." "Then follow your heart, but go with your eyes open." Amaka's voice was gentle but firm. "It won't be easy. People will mock you, tell you you're making a mistake. Some days you'll doubt yourself. But if he's a man of character, if he'll work with you, struggle with you, build with you, then he's worth fighting for." "But what if we fail?" "Then you fail together." "But what if you succeed? What if you build something real, something that lasts?" Chioma's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, Auntie." After she left, Chidi appeared in the doorway. "Who was that?" "The future," Amaka said softly. He smiled. "I like that." 10 years after their traditional marriage, Amaka and Chidi returned to her family compound, this time to speak to the youth about business, marriage, life. The compound was packed, young people on benches, elders standing in back, her uncle in front listening. Chidi spoke first. "I was a security guard. People mocked me, called me nobody, told the woman I loved she was wasting her life. And maybe by their standards, I was nobody. No money, no connections, just dreams and cheap notebooks." He paused. "But I had discipline, work ethic, faith, and a woman who saw past what I didn't have to who I could become." He looked at Amaka. "She could have chosen easier roads, but she chose to build with me. And together, not alone, together, we created something." Then Amaka spoke. "Marriage isn't about what someone has. It's about who they are, how they treat you, how they face challenges, how they handle failure." She paused. "Chidi didn't have nothing when I married him. By the world's standards, I made the worst decision possible. But he had character, integrity, vision, and that was worth more than any bank account. So don't judge people by their job titles. Judge them by their hearts, by their work ethic, by whether they'll build with you, not just for you." The crowd erupted in applause. After, her uncle approached. "I'm proud of you both, more than I can say. Thank you, Uncle. I tell your story everywhere now, about how I was wrong, about how character matters more than cash, about how the best marriages are partnerships, not transactions." Chidi shook his hand. "It was never about proving you wrong, sir. It was about proving to ourselves what we could do." His uncle nodded, respect in his eyes. Driving home that evening, sunset painting Legos gold, Amaka looked at Chidi. "We did good, didn't we?" "We did." "Would you change anything?" He thought about it, really thought. "No, not the mockery, not the poverty, not the struggle, because all of it made us who we are." She smiled. "Me neither." Years passed. The company continued growing, but Chidi and Amaka never forgot where they came from. They hired people others dismissed, single mothers, school dropouts, former security guards like Chidi once was, paid fair wages, offered advancement based on merit. When young couples came for advice, and they did often, they always said the same thing. Don't marry for what someone has, marry for who they are, then build together. It won't be easy. Some days you'll want to quit, but if you both show up, if you both work, if you both refuse to give up, you'll make it.
One afternoon, a young woman came to the office. "Mrs. Amaka." "Yes, I'm Chioma, Nkiru's daughter, your niece." Amaka smiled. "Chioma, you've grown." "Yes, Ma." The girl hesitated. "My mother said I should talk to you. She said you would understand." "Understand what?" "I'm in love with someone, a mechanic, but my family says he's not good enough. They want me to wait for someone with a degree, with money, but I love him, and he's good. He works so hard, he's honest, he's kind, but they won't listen." Amaka looked at this young woman, saw herself at 26. "What does your heart say?" "That he's the one." "Then follow your heart, but go with your eyes open." Amaka's voice was gentle but firm. "It won't be easy. People will mock you, tell you you're making a mistake. Some days you'll doubt yourself, but if he's a man of character, if he'll work with you, struggle with you, build with you, then he's worth fighting for." "But what if we fail?" "Then you fail together. But what if you succeed? What if you build something real, something that lasts?" Chioma's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, Auntie." After she left, Chidi appeared in the doorway. "Who was that?" "The future," Amaka said softly. He smiled. "I like that." 10 years after their traditional marriage, Amaka and Chidi returned to her family compound, this time to speak to the youth about business, marriage, life. The compound was packed. Young people on benches, elders standing in back, her uncle in front listening. Chidi spoke first. "I was a security guard. People mocked me, called me nobody, told the woman I loved she was wasting her life. And maybe by their standards, I was nobody. No money, no connections, just dreams and cheap notebooks." He paused. "But I had discipline, work ethic, faith, and a woman who saw past what I didn't have to who I could become." He looked at Amaka. "She could have chosen easier roads, but she chose to build with me. And together, not alone, together, we created something." Then Amaka spoke. "Marriage isn't about what someone has. It's about who they are, how they treat you, how they face challenges, how they handle failure." She paused. "Chidi didn't have nothing when I married him, but he had character, integrity, vision, and that was worth more than any bank account. So don't judge people by their job titles. Judge them by their hearts, by their work ethic, by whether they'll build with you, not just for you." The crowd erupted in applause. After, her uncle approached. "I'm proud of you both, more than I can say. Thank you, Uncle. I tell your story everywhere now, about how I was wrong, about how character matters more than cash, about how the best marriages are partnerships, not transactions." Chidi shook his hand. "It was never about proving you wrong, sir. It was about proving to ourselves what we could do." His uncle nodded, respect in his eyes. Driving home that evening, sunset painting Legos gold, Amaka looked at Chidi. "We did good, didn't we?" "We did." "Would you change anything?" He thought about it, really thought. "No. Not the mockery, not the poverty, not the struggle, because all of it made us who we are." She smiled. "Me neither." Years passed. When people asked Amaka what the secret was, she always said, "There's no secret, just choice. Every day we chose each other. In poverty, in growth, in doubt, in success. We chose to stay, to work, to believe." And when they asked Chidi, "I married a woman who saw me when I was invisible. That changes a man."
Years later, when people asked Amaka what the secret was, she always said, "There's no secret, just choice. Every day we chose each other. In poverty, in growth, in doubt, in success. We chose to stay, to work, to believe." And when they asked Chidi, "I married a woman who saw me when I was invisible. That changes a man, makes him want to be worthy of that vision, not for the world, for her." Their story became legend, not because they became rich, though they did well enough, but because of what they proved. That love isn't about what you start with, it's about what you build. That success isn't measured in cars or houses, it's measured in character forged through fire, in commitment tested by hardship, in courage to stand when the world tells you to fall. And that the greatest risk isn't marrying someone with nothing. It's marrying someone who is nothing, someone without character, without vision, without will. Chidi was never nothing. He was just waiting for someone to see him, and Amaka did. And together, they built something money could never buy, a partnership, a legacy, a home, something real, something lasting, something worth every tear, every sacrifice, every moment of doubt. Before you judge someone by their job, their clothes, or their current situation,
Ask yourself, am I seeing who they are or only what they have? True worth isn't found in titles or bank accounts. It's found in how someone treats you when they have nothing to gain, in how they work when no one is watching, and how they love when the world is mocking. Don't marry a position. Don't marry potential. Marry character. Marry someone willing to build with you, not just for you. The rest, the success, the comfort, the respect, will follow. Or it won't. But you'll have something more valuable. A partner, a teammate, a home. And that is worth more than gold.